Hello, welcome to episode 15 of the Nola Taoist. So, you may have noticed, I'm short of Taoist. That's kind of funny because, Taoists work on the concept of wu-wei, emptiness, nothing, so how can you be short of nothing? But, small joke. Today we have a green tea and a reishi mushroom with Rooibos and orange peel. So I'm not big on the flavor of green tea, but I do like the effects that it has. So I put a little blend with the Rooibos. I've just poured it, so it's super hot. Yep, hot and delicious. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about verse 15 of the Tao Te Ching, continuing on the path that we've been on with Clint and I. We ended on verse 14. Things in life came up. He actually ended up moving. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, listen, man, I've been thinking about doing this and keep going. It's such a great thing we're doing. And he was like, oh, yeah, totally cool. So I'll be continuing on. And I have a few other big things in the works right now that have to do with the tech world. So this is a good kind of intro back into it for me. Excuse me, I'm going to adjust the lighting. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. Wasn't crazy about the big light in the back, but it needs a little more light. It's kind of dark, you know. But so here we are, episode 15. Recap of this week. I'll just use my teapot here to show you. I've taken a lanyard and made a little handle here for me. Not for my teapot, because it doesn't have one. My life's kind of been a little bit of get it how you live lately. And that's cool. I embrace all challenges in life. It's definitely been a roller coaster of up and down. But hey, what is life, right? Without ups and downs. In fact, your heartbeat goes boom, 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 boom. And when you're dead, it goes boom. So, guess I'm still alive. But, you know, honestly, no one loves to go through struggles and strife. But every time I come out the other end, I've grown. And I realize I went through this struggle and this strife to learn something and to grow. And that's the beauty in it for me, coming out the other end and looking back and going, wow, that was a shit show, but wow, look how much I've grown. Look how much I've evolved and changed. And that's really cool to kind of see and watch the progression of how you grow and change. So Clint actually got me into drunken boxing. He raved about it and revered it in such a way that it caught my attention when he would talk about it. Drunken boxing and the Eight Immortals. And I'd never really seen it except for like wushu stuff that you might see in movies. And it looks really great. You know, you see the guy's up and boom, and then he falls all the way down and he gets back up and he does this crazy move, right? That's mostly probably a little bit impractical, but could also have some real life effect if you're good at it. But anyway, never seen anything except for movie stuff, you know, Drunken Master with Jackie Chan. But I started practicing on my own, or myself. I've started practicing, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and it's really works your balance and your legs. My hips are opening up a lot, which I could do the full splits before, but there were certain stances that I struggled in, like in Shaolin, they call it pugu, when you're kind of squatted down on one leg and the other leg is straight out like this, as opposed to like a horse, where you're kind of like this. You're more on one side leg and the other one straight out. So there's different exercises that I'm doing the jumping box. I'm going to open up my hips and strengthening it. So that's a lot of fun. Right now in the middle of summer, we just passed summer solstice, and we're in Shaoshu, modern heat is the time period that we're in according to the Taoist calendar. Of course, they go in 2 weeks periods, as I think we've discussed before on the podcast. So in this time period, there's a lot of fire energy and heat, and it's really good for cultivation. Now's a great time to get outside and be in the sun. Now, I'm not telling you to go outside and be out there for 6 hours, but go take a walk around the block a few times a day. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to boost your mood, and you're going to kind of store some of that fire energy for later in the year in the winter when we don't have so much physical yang body energy, and we just want to be like a bear. Never need arcade, right? So I've been enjoying my little walks around the block in the sky. Oh man, the skyline's just beautiful lately. I mean, it's phenomenal. Tonight I went for a quick little walk, and there was this beautiful orange, pinkish, purple color in the sky. And some of the clouds were fluffy, and at the end of them, they would whisper off. It was just beautiful. And some of them were full and gray, and you could tell it's going to rain. And then others were just bright white and just fluffy, beautiful clouds. I love the skyline. But anyway, I digress. It is Chao Shu period in the Taoist calendar. And so there's a lot of this fire energy, and it's really good for cultivation because fire is creation or destruction. So I've been hitting the drunken boxing, working my physical body pretty hard, working my balance and one-legged postures and these kind of spiraling, curling, drunken moves holding the teacup. A lot of cool, looks really cool, a lot of fun. I've been enjoying that in my life a lot. As you can see, that's my massage table there behind me folded up. I usually have it set up in the room, but I had been doing a healing job, but I'd been traveling to the person. The case was kind of serious, so I was going to them as opposed to them coming to me. So I've been taking it on the go. So I've been enjoying that. As a healer doing healing work, I've been growing in that more and more. As anything, any skill or art that you practice, the more you do it, the more you figure out your little niche and your way to grow in it. So that's always amazing. I love that. Pardon me, as I perfect time for a little sip. Need something to stimulate my brain. Great time. The podcast will definitely be a bit shorter as we're down one person, so less conversation thread there, obviously. So Shaoshu period, a lot of fire and heat, so great for cultivation, physical body, energy, spirit, body, great for cultivation, all those things. But also, make sure you drink your water. Put some ice in your water. I'm a guy that wakes up and hot water, salt, and lemon right off the gate. But lately, I'm just regular room temp water, or even putting ice in the water, because it's so hot. Sometimes I need to cool down. I don't burn out. So, Shaoshu. Coincidentally, it's a great time for cultivation. Now, great time to work the muscles and the tendons, really physically work the body. Now, the last period was summer solstice. Good to work the body, but really great for what we call Ching or meditation work. And speaking of meditation, so last year I spent quite a lot of time doing meditation, sitting in meditation. It wasn't uncommon for me to sit overnight in meditation or all day in meditation. There were times that I took trips places and I would get out from late shift and I wouldn't want to go to sleep out of concern if I would wake up. So I would sit in meditation until my ride came in the morning. So I'd sit in meditation, 4 or 5 hours, nothing. I get up, go grab my things, and go off to the airport, and off I go. When you sit in meditation, it's like it's actually like sleeping. Your eyes are closed. You're typically in a quiet place. Not CXC, you can hear kicking on probably, but you're typically in a quiet place. Your eyes are closed, so you feel safe and comfortable. Not a lot of exterior outer noise. Not a lot of cars driving by and things like that. And when you sit, it's restorative to your energy. It's like sleeping. In fact, when you get into deep meditative states, if you're in a similar trance state, if you will, as when you're sleeping, or right before when you go to sleep, when your body's best, your mind is best for learning and taking things in. So, as I sat in meditation, well, it sort of conserves your energy, and actually, you can have a lot more mind and mental energy. Which means that also you can eat a lot more. So your body's so relaxed because your body and your mind and your breath are all interconnected. They have this connection between the three. But your mind and body really specifically work close together. So if your body's wound down, then your mind will typically wound down. If your body's open and relaxed, then your mind will be open and relaxed. With that being said, there's a lot more space in your body, and you feel like you can eat a whole lot more food, and it doesn't have the same effect on you as when your body's wound down, and then you feel so full because you're eating a small amount of food. So, sitting in meditation for hours and not doing physical work on my body, I gained a little bit of weight. So this year has been a lot about getting back into my physical body, getting back into my workouts, training hard, making the physical body strong, and still exploring meditation at the same time, and exploring different meditation techniques as I go along, which has been great. I like the way my body holds, how it feels when it's strong. And I enjoy physical exercises, I realized after a year plus of much only meditation and energetic work, but no physical exercise or work other than basic life exercises, life things, walking to the mailbox or whatever like that. I started to realize how much I greatly enjoyed physically working out, getting a good hard sweat in, and like just pushing my body till it's exhausted, and then feel it grow and become stronger, feeling my physical girth and strength and power. I've really enjoyed doing drunken boxing because it's been working that a lot. Sitting through meditation, and I knew this, delving into the health realm for a good 5 years now, that your body shape does not correlate to your health. And I proved that to myself by going through these things, eating whatever I wanted, sometimes sleeping however I wanted, but maintaining my meditation through. And of course, everything has its limits, and I don't recommend, you go do hours of meditation, then you can eat whatever you want in excess, because everything has its limitations. Even a monk has its limits. My father used to tell me, and it was so true. It was so true. He was so correct. But anyway, when you sit in meditation, the first thing that happens is you start to quiet the monkey mind, as they call it. So typically during the day, your brain's going here, there, everywhere. I gotta fold the clothes. I gotta sweep the floor. I gotta do a good job at work. I gotta make this person like me. I want to cook this. I need to check my funds. I need to balance my bills. I need new clothes. I'm ready to take a shower. All these things that just, these thoughts that pop up in your brain. These are trivial things. It's not even talking about like reading a book and then getting deep into that type of thought. But you have this chatter, and your brain's funny because it'll tell you you're beautiful in a quarter of a second. The next person is going to tell you you're the ugliest person ever existed. And it'll play this like yin yang, back and forth in you. And if you're in a real bad state, let's say you like to drink a lot, you don't exercise or drink water, take care of your health, they may just tell you all the time, you suck, you're awful, you're shitty, you're the worst person alive, right? Or let's say the opposite side of the coin, maybe you eat well, you drink plenty of water, you work out, in a healthy fashion, you have a job you enjoy, you're financially free, you have a great partner and all these things, and your brain might tell you, oh, you're the best person alive, your life is beautiful, it's perfect, it's this, it's that, and everything's great. And both of those realities to some extent can and are true, but if you're only hearing wonderful things, well, you're missing out on some of the ugly truths of life, which without the ugliness, there isn't the beauty. Without the beauty, there isn't the ugliness. Same thing, if you're only hearing the ugly things in your life, you're missing out on the beautiful things of life. Life is awful, life is this, life is that. Then you miss the beautiful clouds, and you miss the great, nice things that people do for you, people who are around you. You miss how beautiful people around you are. So when you sit in meditation, you get to this point of stillness and emptiness of your mind, where you perceive things as what they are, not good or bad, not this kind of like 3D one way or the other. 3D is more like everything's awful, 4D is, good or bad. So you get to this point where some people will call 5D, where everything works in your favor, but things are what they are. They're not good or bad, they just are. You went to work and you made $300. Well, it's not good or it's bad, it's just you went to work and you made $300. Some people, making $300 a shift is great. Some people say, I'm used to making $600, that's not shit. You stop seeing it like this or that, it's just this is this, yeah? $300 is $300. Right? What's money anyway? A piece of paper made from what? Wood, a tree. And this piece of paper is what? It holds a value that we have, as a society, decided that has this worth. But $20 to someone who only has $10 in the bank until payday is a lot of money. $20 to a billionaire is not shit. It's like a penny to most people, right? So what value it is what you assign to it. Now, as you get this clarity through sitting through meditation of your mind and your body and your breath, you get this stillness and this clarity. You see things for what they are. You see where people do things that are nice things, but it's for their favor. Or you see people do things that maybe most people wouldn't consider nice, but they're for your favor. You might see someone do something that's they just thought was right or wrong. You might see someone do something, you will start to see and understand why people do things, whether it be because they're angry. Because when your mind is still and your breath and your body is still, then you're still. Because we are what we practice. And through that, you start to come to and understand yourself even better. And you know why you do things. And if you understand why you do things, then you'll start to understand why other people do things. Know thyself and thou shalt know others. He who knows himself knows others. So you get this stillness and this clarity. And some things you may enjoy more than others in your life, but your reality that you live in then changes. Where someone's getting upset about someone doing something, or they can't understand why someone does something, you then come to a point of like ration and understanding. You get to a point where your mind, your breath, and your body is so still that you can understand whether a stimulus is coming from you or an outside source, be it the environment or be it another person directly near you or around you in your life. And then you start to kind of understand some of the energies behind things. And meditation is a skill, like anything else, like lifting weights, or doing push-ups, or doing art, or calligraphy, or whatever, gardening. It's a skill in a sense that you have to practice it. Yeah. So you can sit for 5 minutes. You can sit for 10 minutes. Yeah. If you sit for 4 hours straight and then you sit for 5 minutes the next day, you never sustain the habit. Yeah. And then your psyche goes in and out. It's kind of interesting to see, like, because I've done things like that, kind of crash meditations, where I might sit for 4 hours and then not at all the next day, or maybe 20 minutes. And your reality is really quite different. So I had to work my way up to longer hours, to sustain it and be stable in it. It's like anything. It's like working out, right? If you go work out for 3 hours straight and you don't work out at all, you're going to be really hurting the next day. You might be on the floor, not able to get up. You might need to go walk around in the grass and ground yourself a little bit. But if you work out for 10 minutes, and the next week you do 20 minutes a couple times a week, and the next week you do 30 minutes a couple times a week, and then after a month you do an hour a couple times a week, and then you do an hour and a half a couple times a week, and then, yada, 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 right? And then what you can achieve is almost endless. That's up to you. Now, here's the thing about meditation. Well, I've told you all these things that happen when you meditate, but the average person says, what would I gain from meditation? Well, quite frankly, if you said that to somebody back in the old days, they wouldn't teach you. You won't gain anything, but you will lose fear, guilt, shame, worry, hatred, anger. You'll lose all of these things that we term as bad, these emotions and these feelings and these thoughts, because you'll have a clarity of what something is. I'm not saying you won't get angry. I'm not saying you won't get sad. I'm not saying you won't get mad. But it'll come and it'll go. Something will happen that will make you have a feeling of being mad or angry, and you'll realize immediately, oh, they did that. I didn't like that because X, Y, and Z, and that then made me feel mad. And then you just let it go. Or you say, okay, well, when this instance comes up again, I'll put up a boundary. So you won't do that to me, and then I won't be mad. Yeah. A higher level, if you ask me, you should come to an understanding where you choose to not allow these things to bother you. But that's a personal choice that you work at as far as your attitude and spirit, more than just meditation. But you come to this point where you, as I was saying, you lose these things. Meditation is about letting go, releasing. If you want to be knowledgeable, you gain every day, you add. You put all this armor on, all these things, and you get all this information. If you want to become wise, you take it off and you strip away all of this fighting and this armor and all of these things, and then you see what's life. Yeah? It's like a person living in a city and they have all their technology and all their modern things, and then they decide to leave the city and their normal 9-to-5 job and go out in the wilderness and live on the land with very small amounts of money, and only work here or there to make enough money to kind of survive and get them by and kind of travel and enjoy the world that way. Well, you get to experience the beauty of this world, but you don't have all this access to finances and things. You're not maybe not always living in AC. You're not always living with a heater. Maybe you're not always going out to eat whenever you feel like it because you decided you want some KFC or TGI Fridays or Applebee's or steakhouse or whatever you decide that you want, however you live your life, whatever class you find yourself residing in or tethering in and out of. So you don't have access to all these things. You don't just maybe hang out with people every day because you're not around people. Most of the time, it's just you out in the wilderness, unless you, of course, take them with you. But most people don't do that unless they're like a couple. But this is the thing that people do, and they experience a whole other way of just being in life, which is quite difficult to do with the outside noise being in the city. The cars are hustling and bustling, the AC is kicking on, your phone's buzzing because someone texted you, or there's a new Instagram notification or a Facebook notification. Your mom's calling you because she needs to talk to you about something that's going on with your brother. All these things. Someone slamming a door or something around you because they're angry, and that noise pierces through. And, just all of the ruckus and the chaos of the modern city. But living in the city has its perks. I can go eat at a steakhouse whenever I want, provided I have the capital. If I'm feeling like a certain type of cappuccino, I can go to Starbucks and get a hazelnut cappuccino with almond milk. Can't do that shit out in the country, out in the wilderness. Unless, of course, I have all these goods that I bought and brought with me, but those are expensive, right? But in the city, I'm working more, so I have this more money, so I can go spend and enjoy this, right? I might go out on a yacht. I might go rent a bike and ride it around the border. I might go with a couple friends and get a party bus and go party on the weekend. Get drunk and dance and scream and woo! Because I'm in the city and I can do that. I have access to the funds. So this is sometimes, the dichotomy. And through sitting through meditation, you kind of cancel out all this noise. And it's a way that you can kind of live in the city and cancel out all of this noise and this exterior shit and all of these morals and beliefs that the world tells you have to live by, which are not yours. And quite frankly, most people disagree with, but they just do it because they want to fit in. So, normally we do martial arts, but this one I'm doing meditation because as you get into the Asian arts, specifically, I find that it's more heavily present there, especially in Kung Fu. You do physical work, the internal arts do energetic work, and they also tend to have some type of meditation, whether it be drawing of standing meditation, or seated meditation, or lying meditation, or like Tai Chi is considered a moving meditation, right? So, there are different forms of, per se, meditation. But the Asian arts tend to have it in there, especially in the internal arts, tend to have some type of meditation in there. And on that note, time to have a little liquid meditation. As we take a moment of silence for meditation. To appreciate the stillness and the quietness of me not talking. No noise, no AC, no nothing around. Now, hearing someone talk about meditation and talking with a person who's done meditation, high level, many hours, you can have some understanding of what meditation is. But there's no substitute for you doing meditation yourself. You can read about a great vacation all day, and it means nothing in comparison to going on the actual vacation. Having the peace and the stillness inside of you, your body, your heart, your mind, this, this is the value of meditation. So, the Tao Te Ching, I love reading it. It's funny because the Tao, the true Tao is the Tao that can't be spoken of. It's kind of like meditation. You can't put it into words. You can study techniques and you can practice, and I can tell you these things that happen, but it's not the same as you experiencing it. You can't really speak on the bliss that comes from it. You can try and utter words like bliss and peace and stillness, but none of that, those are just sounds. That's it. None of that can equate to what it means to do meditation. Adam Meisner was one guy, Tai Chi guy, big Tai Chi player, and he says, "I can't tell you what Tai Chi is. But I can tell you what it's not. I can describe Tai Chi to you by telling you what it's not, for I can't tell you what it is." Meditation is the same way, and high-level Tai Chi oftentimes is considered a form of moving meditation. Not is considered, but is a form of moving meditation. Now, what techniques you use to do that moving meditation, well, that's depends on your style and how you practice. So, verse 15 of the Tao Te Ching, I was saying something. Of course, now I'm into the green tea going through my brain. But the Tao Te Ching, I love reading it, and it's almost like it takes me to a place of emptiness. It's not this or that. It talks about both ends of the spectrum, and then sometimes in the middle. You can't really put it into words, but you can enjoy the study of it. So once upon a time, people who knew the way were subtle, spiritual, mysterious, penetrating, unfathomable. I love that line. Um, People who knew the way were subtle. They always say the person who makes the most noise really ain't about shit. It's the quiet ones that you gotta look out for. The wise ones are the ones who don't need to tell you all they know, because the idiots open their mouth and let you know how dumb they are. My dad used to tell me, uh, son, you want to know how dumb someone is? You let them open their mouth, you listen to them. They'll open their mouth and tell you how dumb they are, or maybe how smart they are. Typically, the ones who are doing most of the talking aren't that bright. They're often saying nothing and talking in circles. But to someone who can't keep up with it, doesn't have the focus or attention span, it sounds great on the surface. You're like, oh, wow, this person X, Y, and Z. And then you get to the core and you're like, they don't know anything. They're not that bright. They make poor decisions. Or, they're just flapping at the gums. They're making things up about life experiences they haven't had. People who knew the way were spiritual. Well, how do you define spiritual? Well, I think everyone has their own kind of spiritual walk. Some people say they don't believe in God or whatever, but yet they believe in a powerful being. So spirituality can be your own take. There are many forms of spirituality. But one thing that I can tell you for sure is that the spiritual realm is a very real thing. And that governs a lot more than the physical realm does. There's an expression I love that says, careful who you mess with in the physical realm, for you never know who protects them in the spiritual realm. People who knew the way were mysterious. If we did the same thing at the same time every day and did nothing different, there was no variety in our day, it would be boring. There's something to discipline, but no one wants to be so disciplined that they never have a change in their life. You would be stagnant. And to be stagnant is to be flatline, dead. Yeah, this is change. Yeah, sometimes it's comfortable, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you like it down here, sometimes you like it up here. Just depends. Uh, People who knew the way were penetrating. I love that as well because doing martial arts, I always say find the hole and fill it. Yeah, here's the guy's guard, slip right through the middle, hit him in the face. Yeah, or here's his guard, slip right through, penetrate, boom, hit him. Yeah, but what I take out of that penetrating is more piercing to the core. Yeah, this noise out here, how much money you have, and beautiful men or women in your life, and tastiest of foods, which, by the way, the tastier foods, oftentimes cooked by chef, they're cooked for them to taste good, but not for health. And they're oftentimes not that healthy. You can have great quality meat, but then you cover it in this sauce that's done with this flour or this roux, and you put wine in there and all these things that make it so not healthy. Doesn't mean I won't enjoy it sometimes, but to eat like that every day is not typically advisable. But penetrating, you get straight to the source, to the core. Anybody who's ever been extremely wealthy will tell you that all the money in the world doesn't make you happy, doesn't make you healthy. Having money may help things go along in the world, but it doesn't give you health or happiness or peace of mind or stillness, and those things are invaluable. The people who knew the way were unfathomable. It's funny because, what does it mean to be unfathomable? You can't fathom what I am, what I'll do, what I know. The people who knew the way were unfathomable, unpredictable. You couldn't imagine what they've been through in their life. And you're lucky if those kind of people give you insight. Yeah. Since they're inexplicable, I can only say what they seemed like. And I love that because when you get in tune with the micro pulsations of life, things are always changing. They're never still like we perceive. Everything's always ebbing and flowing and moving. Yeah. So someone can only tell you what someone who's really involved in the way seems like. How can you track or call something a thing that's always moving? How can I label it as one thing or the other when it's constantly in a state of evolution and change? Well, that becomes hard to label something as a still stagnant thing. It becomes hard to label someone as a certain trait when they're always changing, because that trait that you label that's there might not be there the next day or in a week. Cautious. Oh, yes, as if wading through a winter river. Alert, as if afraid of the neighbors. Polite and quiet like house guests. Cautious. Life can be dangerous. Why, it behooves you to be cautious, to know who is maybe a friend or a foe, who pretends to be a friend but is really a foe. If you're present to life, you're going to be cautious. You're not going to think that a bad thing will never happen to you or it can't ever happen to you. Because, hey, one thing that's fair about this realm is suffering. focused. Yeah. I'll use the analogy of martial arts and fighting. If you're not alert, you're going to get punched in the face. You're not going to see the guy's hand moving, he's going to punch you right in the face. If you're alert, you'll see from the center of his chest that his hand's about to move, and then you'll know he's about to punch you in the face. And you'll move, or you'll hit him first. Polite and quiet like house guests. When you sit in meditation for long periods of time, you hear things differently. This has a different sound than just a light tap. Just as someone stomping their feet as they walk, it becomes jarring to you. So you tend to walk quietly. Not to make any noise, subtly, softly, yeah. As if you didn't want anyone to know you were there. Like a polite house guest. Elusive, like melting ice. Can't hold on to melting ice. It'll just melt right through your hands. To be in a state of change is to always be moving and flowing. Blank, like uncut wood. I love that. I love wooden sculptures. I love when people put art into wood, carve things into wood. I always thought it was neat. Also like pottery, to take something that's one shape and remove some things into another shape. Take the wood that's blank and start to cut away the pieces. So blank like uncut wood. Let's say when wood, not let's say, but we're saying, when wood is blank, you can carve it into whatever you want. But if I now have a statue of an owl, it's kind of hard to carve that and reshape that into a dog. Owl stands up, the dog's on its four legs. Really hard to reshape that into a dog, you know? But when I have a blank piece of wood, I'm carving whatever I want to carve it into. So it's to say to be moldable, to be open, to be a blank slate, like a clean canvas, empty like valleys. So someone was doing internal arts and they were talking about what you do in the training, and the expression the guy said was, we open up to empty out, and we empty out to fill out. And I love that, because when you open and empty out, your body, your breath, or let's just say your mind, I have a certain belief pattern or thought structure that, you know, I should wear this shirt and these pants because this looks good. Okay, well, I believe that in my mind. These are thoughts in my mind. If I empty my mind and fill them that these don't look good, but a black and white checkered polo shirt and khakis looks good with dress shoes, I'll then put that on. And now I've just changed my style, because I allow myself to empty my mind and fill it with another style. So what I love about this and the training is it almost gives you, it essentially allows you to be a new person every day. And that's great, because sometimes we hold on to these awful things that have happened to us that quote unquote make us who we are. And in order to evolve, we've got to let them go and fill with new things. I let go of sadness and I get integrity. I let go of anger and frustration and I get compassion. I let go of worry and I get confidence. Mysterious. Oh yes, they were like troubled water. I love that because troubled water, it's exciting to see a rushing river. It's quite a thing to look at and hear and feel that river rushing past you. And it's a mystery. If you get in, is it going to sweep you away? Who knows? Who can, by stillness, little by little, make what is troubled grow clear? Hmm. So if you're to empty a rushing river into a bigger body of water or a big pond, like a massive pond, it would little by little become still. And of course, you'd have to cut off the supply of the rushing river that was causing it to rush, change the shape. But make what is troubled grow clear. So you take this rushing river and you make it still little by little. To me, that's like a game of meditation. All the chatter in your mind that goes on every less than a quarter of a second, these thoughts that pop in your brain if you listen to them. The more you practice meditation, they start to talk less and less and less, and they start to take up less and less space in your mind. Who can, by movement, little by little, make what is still grow quick? If you take a pond and feed it into a river, or dredge a channel out going downhill, that pond will run back into a rushing flowing river, provided you keep filling the water source of the pond as it rains, right? To follow the way, the Tao, which is never a straight path. Even though in America we have this idea of like improvement being like, I'm just gonna skyrocket straight up. Yeah. Okay, you might hit small peaks of that and then you level off, and you hit small peaks and you level off. But the way that it really goes is you start with A, go B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper into these things. To follow the way is not to need fulfillment. When you're empty, you can fill and let go, fill and let go. If you can let go, when you follow the way, you're ever changing. So you're constantly growing and evolving. You don't need to feel like you're fulfilled or try to be full. Because if you're full, then you're not moving and you're stagnant. If I take this cup and I fill it to the brim, all the tea that's in here, which you can't see because there's so little, and if I turn the angle too much, the tea will spill out. But anyway, I digress. The tea that's in here, if I were to put water and just fill it up in the top of this and just let it sit in the sun, then algae and other things would grow in it. But if I poured a little water in there and sat in the sun, and then I poured more water and let it overflow, it would still be alive, and it wouldn't have all of the nasty algae and things that would get in it. Unfulfilled, one may live on, needing no renewal. It's oftentimes that people have too much that cause problems, not too little. You take the business guy playing the stock market and he loses $1 million, even though he's got 12 more million in his brain. That million is, oh my God, and he loses his mind. Because he doesn't see the value in everything else that the 12 million he still has. You take a poor person who's barely got enough food for the day, and you give them a few extra fish or teach them a good place to go fishing and get a few extra fish, then they can feed their friends and they're happy for the fish they have and the extra fish. Hunting and gathering days in the winter times was most of when we ate meat because the plants were dead. So we would hunt an animal in the wintertime and live off that meat. Because by the way, the meat like beef and pork and things like that, chickens not so much, but beef and pork, cows, elk, these types of things. They heat your body up. They warm it. That red meat is warming to your body, to the insides. So they would kill this big cow and eat on it for weeks to warm their body and give their body enough nutrition to go along. And they were so grateful they killed one cow instead of like a modern farmer thinks like he needs 20 cows to live off of because he's got to sell some, he's got to keep some to eat. All these things. We had less as hunter gatherers, so we appreciated what we really got more. So sometimes empty your cup a little bit. Unfulfilled, one may live on, needing no renewal. Unfulfilled, you have room to fill more and grow. So fill and empty, fill and empty, fill and empty. Be unfulfilled. That's it, verse 15. Anyway, I've enjoyed my tea, sharing with you all. I'll be doing my weekly things, Ching class, my Tai Chi class, my healing work, and I look forward to doing more of the Nola Taoist. This has been verse 15. Gambay. Until next time.